learn how to have a high percentage win strategy with two indicators. It's the TDI and the Forex power indicator. We're going to show you the strategy, back test it, learn how it works, learn to trade it here. Let's get started. So the first thing that you need to know when you're running a trading strategy like this is that it's important to run some basic testing and that you understand how the strategy works and that you can follow it 100% of the time. Because if you can't follow it, if you don't know how it works, then you're not going to be able to trade it. So take some time to familiarize yourself with the strategy by watching this video. So the very first thing we're going to do now is we're going to go over to Google and we're going to look for the strategy. So make sure that we'll have the links in here as well, but you can do this by just searching Forex power indicator. Okay, if you search Forex power indicator right here, it will show you how to get to the tool. Okay, so that's the first tool we're going to need. The next tool, so we'll open that up. Then the next tool that you're going to need is the TDI indicator. So you can just type in TDI strategy, and it's on the same site. So if you want to, the name of the article is called Cheat the FX Market with the TDI indicator, and it actually has the download for the indicator in this article right down here. So we're going to want to grab that right there and download it. And so we'll have the links for all that in the description. Okay, so now here's the Forex power indicator, and you'll notice up here at the top there's the monthly tab, the weekly, daily, 4-hour, and so on. And so the monthly is the strongest currency pair and the weakest for the entire month. And something that's really interesting about the currency market that makes it unique is that you're trading two things against each other, right? When you're trading stocks, you're just trading that stock. But when you're trading the dollar versus the yen, or the dollar versus the Swiss franc, then you're comparing two. And so one of the cool things that we can do is find the weakest ones and the strongest ones, and what that can potentially do is accelerate your growth. So I like to trade just the best of the best, and so right here you can see the very weakest was the yen over the last month. And what was the strongest? The strongest was the Swiss franc or the CAD. So that means that Swiss was a little bit stronger. So we got Swiss franc yen or CAD yen. And then the third one on the list is the pound yen. So we would take some of those and then find our trades using those pairs. Okay? And then you can also go over here to the weekly tab and find your strategies there, right? You can find your pairs there. So in the last week, you can see the Swiss was still strong, but the New Zealand. And so we have a New Zealand Swiss or Euro New Zealand. Those are the pairs that we would be looking at if we want to go weekly. Okay, so I like to do the monthly because I want to get the strongest. And so we'll go to the monthly and we'll just go to the Swiss franc. So let's jump over to the chart and take a look at the Swiss franc. So this is a daily chart right here, and you'll notice that if we zoom out here that it is extremely strong. As a matter of fact, this trend is so strong that it has been moving up for 4 years, right, on a daily chart. 4 years this has been moving up. So potentially this strategy would work for the last 4 years. Now, when the trend changes, then we'll look for something else. But right now, this is a 4-year trend. Okay. So we have that. Now, what do we want to do to trade it? Well, right here, we want to go to the next indicator, which is the TDI. Okay, and what we're looking for, and all of the instructions here are in this article, which you'll see over here. This is the name of the article is called Cheat the FX Market with the TDI indicator. All of the instructions are there as well, and we'll have the link to that. But really what you do is really simple. You put the TDI indicator on the chart, and when the green arrow crosses, the green line down here, crosses above the red, then we want to take a buy. Okay, so pretty simple stuff. And if we go back and take a look at some of the last trades, so here was one just a couple days ago. The entry would have been right at this price at 160.41, and we have up 330 pips. Okay, so boom, one winner, 330 pips. You put your stop right below the candle, the swing high, swing low here, this pin bar, perfect entry. Let's go do it again. Okay, the next one, we go back when the green crosses over. There was one here, it was not really too low. I like to see it pull back a little bit stronger, but this one still ended up making about 160 pips. Okay, you can see that cross. So let's go do another one right here. Okay, and now we're back to June. Right here is another cross, and this one moves 657 pips. Okay, so now let's go back again. We'll do another one right here. This one is back to May. Here we go. We got the cross. Remember, you put your stop loss right here, and this one went 400 pips. Now, how you put your take profit, that's totally up to you. You can put it wherever you want. I haven't defined it in the strategy, but I like to go for a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. But with a strategy that is this accurate and you're not getting that many trades, you might want to go a little bit further on the risk to reward ratio with a 3-to-1 or 2-to-1. Because if you get a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, you only have to win 35% of the time. Okay, so we're going to just go back here for the year. And so if we look at, we'll go to January 1st and just look at all the signals here. So we'll go back January 1st. The first signal happened, which was right here, the cross above, and then this one did not win. This was a loser, okay? So nothing is totally perfect. We got to remember we're trying to play the edges. Nothing works 100% of the time. So here's one, didn't work. But then we go back and we get the next one, and then this one had a very nice move of 600 pips. Okay, so we're in. Now let's go back. We got one in March right here, the cross above, and depending on how far you want to trade it, 263, or you could have held this all the time for 2,200 and some pips. Now, a really interesting story that I wanted to share was I use a VPS server sometimes, and that's just so that my markets are always trading. A VPS is just a machine that keeps running all the time and it's not at home, and so you can do that to run your trades. Well, I had a demo account of a US yen trade, and I took one lot on it. And I had forgotten that I took the trade, and I came back and I looked at the chart, and the trade was up $25,000. I took one lot on a US yen, and it was up $25,000. And so the point of that was, and the account balance was only like 7,000. So the point of that story is holding something for long term and letting that trend move is tremendously valuable. It's hard to do, and I don't know too many people that can do it unless you just forget about it. But again, in this example, this is $2,000 just year to date taking one trade, and that might be more money if we did the calculations than if we just took 5 different trades, right? It's harder to do, but it can be bigger results. Okay, so one other note on this strategy, you can see all of these trades that we looked through here were all pretty good winners except for the very first trade. So at this point, it looks like it's about 6 winners and 1 loser. Great odds, especially if you're going to 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Really good stuff. So we want to make sure that we find pairs like this. So if we go back now over to the Forex Power Indicator, you're going to notice that we could check out another pair. So let's go ahead and do that. Instead of looking at the yen, let's look at the next strongest and the weakest. So we have the next strongest was the Swiss, and the next weakest was the New Zealand over the month. So we could go to Swiss New Zealand if I can find that. Let's take a look here at the Swiss New Zealand. And if I can find it real quick. And just while I'm looking for this, you can also use other, let's see, you can use other time frames as well to get more trades. You could switch that down. Okay, you could switch that down to other time frames as well. So you'll notice here that the New Zealand is weak and the Swiss is strong, so we could run this, but on these we're going to be looking for sells, right? So right here, let's go back and just check a couple. Right here we have a cross below, really nice trade, look at that. Okay, here's another one, a cross below, really nice trade. Okay, here we go, really nice trade down. Okay, so you get the idea here. When it crosses below, another really nice trade down. So we can do this, we can run it on an hourly time frame, but I'm just doing it to the daily for an example. But these two indicators, they're available on my website, tradingstrategyguides.com. The New Zealand Swiss was a great trade, the Swiss yen was a great trade, but using the TDI and the Forex power indicator, all provided by my website. You can use it anytime you want. Go check it out. Let me know, try it out in the comments, let me know what you think. Hopefully, you'll get a lot of benefit from this strategy. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.